I'm creating a pedestal container by stacking one plant pot on top of the bottom of another. Next up, I'm scrunching up newspapers, then stuffing them into 3 different garbage bags to create small, medium, and large pumpkins. Once a bag is relatively full, I'm tying the ends together to close off the bag. I'm placing the bag in a plant pot to ensure it fits. I'm now shaping the bags so they resemble pumpkins. Cutting some string, I'm setting a bag on top, then tightening the string until it squishes the bag into shape. I'm adding strings from several different angles until the final shape of the bag resembles a pumpkin, then trimming off the long ends. Next up, I'm going to add a papier-mâché application to each pumpkin. I'm cutting a newspaper into lots of strips, some lighter and some thinner, using a paper cutter. Now I'm mixing up 1 batch of papier-mâché paste. I'm adding 3/4 cup flour to 2 cups of water into a bowl, then stirring it until it's mixed. If you let the solution sit for a few moments, it thickens up a little, which makes it easier to work with. Now I'm dipping each paper strip into the paste, then attaching the strips to the pumpkins, focusing on maintaining pumpkin shapes. I found the thicker cut strips work well for quicker coverage, while the smaller ones are great for finer details. The entire bottom doesn't need to be perfectly covered though, since they will be stacked. Once completely dry, I'm now refining their look by covering them with a layer of papier-mâché clay. I'm soaking a roll of toilet paper in water until I can remove the cardboard tube. Now I'm tearing 2 cups of soaked toilet paper into pieces, then adding them into a bucket with 3/4 cup papier-mâché paste and 1 cup of joint compound. I am mixing it up with my hand, then topping it up with 3/4 cup of flour to make it thicker. I'm applying the papier-mâché clay with my hand, then smoothing the texture out with a little bit of water added. As I started the second pumpkin, I found a more watery mixture was easier to manage. I'm setting the pumpkins on dollar store trash cans so all sides can dry, which takes about 3 to 4 days. Now that the pumpkins are dry, I'm giving them a light sanding with a sanding sponge to smooth them out. Since the pots I'm using were found on the curb, I'm adding a little bit of shimmer to them using hemp oil, which helps rejuvenate tired-looking finishes. To stabilize the stack of pumpkins, I'm using a toilet plunger sitting on top of a plant pot to size the handle perfectly so the length ends halfway through the top of the pumpkin, not right through it. Now I'm cutting holes on top of the 2 bottom pumpkins so the handle can slip through. Now it's time to paint. I'm painting my pumpkins in a soft white called raw silk for a neutral fall look. Each pumpkin is getting painted with 1 coat of paint, including flipping the pumpkins upside down to coat the bottom edges as well. Using a Lazy Susan for the painting process makes painting much easier. With a custom mix of soft tan, I'm painting lines to define the pumpkin ridges. Each indent is getting painted with a line, then before the line dries, I'm adding water to the brush, then blending the line into the rest of the pumpkin. What I'm basically doing is adding subtle shadows instead of harsh lines. To detail the pumpkins, I'm cutting strips of twine, then hot gluing them into the ridges of the pumpkins where the shadows were painted. For the smallest top pumpkin, I'm hot gluing a cut branch onto the top to create a pumpkin stem, then adding the twine last. Now I'm stacking all the pumpkins through the plunger handle, then cutting some grapevine garland to wind around the base of each pumpkin for added rustic detail. The ends of the garland are being tied together with twine. Some burlap ribbon is being cut into a leaf shape, then glued onto the pumpkin stem. The final detail is a swirly branch snapped off my grapevine that's being glued on next. And the final result is a darling rustic stack of pumpkins ready to greet my guests by the front door or placed indoors wherever you wish. However, if you decide to leave them outdoors long term, just be sure to waterproof them with a spray sealant first. And if you like the pumpkins to stand a little taller, add another plant pot on the bottom to create a pedestal effect. This raises them up tall enough to make a wonderful fall statement while standing on the ground. I'm just loving this stack of pumpkins, which is so much more unique than anything you can buy ready-made in a store, don't you think?
The very first thing I do when I am going to do any project is pick up my artificial pumpkins and I paint them. I take a very fine brush and I put it in my green, and then I just paint right down those seams. And we're going to stop right there, and I'm going to put a little bit of each of those oranges out. And for this, I use a wider brush and mix it in together, and then I just go right over those lines that I have drawn. I need to draw a face on it, and I pretty much just freestyle that, so you can do whatever you want. But you can find all kinds of ideas for jack-o'-lantern faces online. And now I am going to use my Versatool, which is like a hot knife, to go ahead and cut out my shapes. So here's our scary jack-o'-lantern, or not scary. And I'm going to add the black paint. And we just want to paint all of this black. It'll make our jack-o'-lanterns really crisp, maybe a little scarier. But I just think it gives it a better look. So that's what I'm doing to all of my jack-o'-lanterns that I'm using in this project. And you will want to turn them over to make sure you get all of the spots that are upside down. And you can already see how nice that looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep working on this, and then I'll get to work on the rest of my project here. Here you can see the difference between the one that has the black paint outlining the cutouts and the one that doesn't. So this is all the pumpkins that I have done, and I hope this is going to be enough, but if not, I've got some extras that I can turn into jack-o'-lanterns to add to the arch. We're going to take each one of the jack-o'-lanterns and drill a hole with a 1-inch drill bit at the top and the bottom of each one of them, so that we can slide them onto the 1-inch piece of PVC. After they're drilled on, we just slide each jack-o'-lantern right up the pole like that. And then we take another piece of the pool noodle and we slide that right over the PVC. And we're ready for another one. Now for across the top, the holes have to be drilled through the middle of the pumpkins this way, not the top and the bottom. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, this is fine and dandy, but what is she going to do with these like green pieces of pool noodle, and why didn't she just slide all of the jack-o'-lanterns right next to each other? Well, I've seen those kind of stacks of jack-o'-lanterns, and I didn't really want mine to look like that. So if you're somewhat of a fall recycler like I am, you have tons of things like this left. And if you do not, head out and buy stuff on sale or to the Dollar Tree and get any kind of leftover stuff like this as you can. And then what I've done is I have gone through and I have cut all of these down into like individual or 2 little leaves, but I don't want stems like this. I'm going to throw those out. So I have fired up the glue gun, and what we are going to do is we are going to take these leaves that we are just going to cover these with fall foliage, flowers, fruits, whatever we want. If you do not have anything, I want to show you the quickest and best thing, and that's what a lot of these leaves are, is these fall chain garlands. They're really inexpensive. After I put a few more on, I'm just going to do a piece of this leaf chain right around it. So to get this on, the thing that we built, we just slide the smaller PVC pole into the bigger one, and voila, our tower of jack-o'-lanterns is up. Now I have finished the cross piece. It's sitting over there, and my dear husband is going to climb up and put it up there so that I can video it. Now I have all of the instructions on how to build this frame, and this is a frame that I first used with the beach ball arch, and this is something now you can use year round for different decorations. So this time we're using it for jack-o'-lanterns. So there, the piece of PVC just slides right into that elbow. And there we go. And all I have to do now is go around and adjust my jack-o'-lanterns so that they are all forward the way I want, and then I have to add my lights. It's very hard to show you on all of these where I am making the hole, but I want to show you right here on this one that I am just cutting a very small hole with my hot knife. But the same principle as carving the face to pull the lights down through. And I will show you when I pull the lights through how we're going to do it. You cut the hole in the bottom and you feed the lights through, and then you cut the hole in the top. There it is. And then you pull the lights. See, I'm pulling them in through until you get to where your extension cord or where your lights are plugged in. And then you go up to the next pumpkin and you feed them through, and then you pull them through there. The lights are all in the jack-o'-lanterns, and I just need to do something with the bases. Now these are pretty deep, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff some plastic shopping bags down inside of these to fill in most of the space. These are handy for doing. And then I have gotten some Spanish moss that I'm going to drape out here. If I need it, I can always add some small pumpkins around the bottom, or small jack-o'-lanterns. And I'm looking forward to showing this to you tonight with the lights on. So here is our jack-o'-lantern arch during the day, all set and ready for nighttime to come, ready for the lights to come on and it to be displayed in all of its glory. I can't wait. It's a little darker now, but you can still see our pumpkins, our jack-o'-lanterns. Isn't this fun? Oh, the kids are gonna love to come trick-or-treating here this year. I hope this has you inspired to get out and pick up some of those jack-o'-lanterns and start carving. Get your lights and build a frame. And remember, this is a frame that you can use year-round for seasonal decor around your front door. I hope you liked this project. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time right here on Home Talk.